So communication is something that is so natural, yet miscommunications happen all the time. The good news is communication is a skill you can work on, and when you layer in a little bit of mindfulness, it can take you really far. Hi, I'm Mel. I'm a professional award-winning storyteller with a background in mindfulness and wellness, as well as a 300+ hour yoga and meditation teacher. Let's get into it. In life, strong communication skills will help build trust with others, resolve conflict, and help connect with individuals on a very deep level. In business and your career, it can help make work more efficiently, improve collaboration with your teams, and help inspire and motivate others, as well as bring your ideas to life. So here's a few ways that you can communicate better. Active listening. About 45% of communication is listening. And many times we're so excited about what we can contribute to the conversation, we don't listen to what the other person is saying. 1, eye contact. 2, body language. Pay attention to what your body is doing. You want to make sure you're facing them forward head on and avoid crossing your arms or any body language that might make you appear closed off. Try and maintain equal eye levels. If you're above the person when they're talking, that might come off as threatening or intimidating. And if you're below their eye level, that might indicate lack of self-confidence. Give nonverbal cues such as nodding to acknowledge to the other person that you've heard what they've said. Confirmation. You can reinforce what the other person is saying, get additional clarity, and increase retention by repeating key information back to them. For example, you would say, "So what I'm hearing you're saying is ... Conciseness. When you communicate with anyone, you should strive to be as surgical with your words as possible. And that's because everyone receives information differently. So when you introduce confusing jargon or go off on tangents, it just creates more possibilities for misunderstandings down the line. Exercising empathy. If you want to be the most influential person in a room, you have to make others feel like they're the only person in that space when you're talking to them. And when someone feels heard, seen, and understood, they're much more likely to trust you and by extension, engage with you. The reality is we spend so much of our time being in our own heads and being self-conscious about what other people are thinking, or trying to maintain this image that we think we need to give off to people, that we don't realize that other people are thinking the exact same thing. So when you respond to someone and you say something like, "I can completely understand why that might be frustrating to you," or "You're not alone in this, let's find a way to handle this together," that validates their feelings and it creates open lines of communication for better collaboration in the future. Stay present. Many of us are multitasking and processing multiple pieces of information at once. That's just human. But limiting distractions can help you retain information. So put your phone down, be present. This is where mindfulness comes in. It's really handy because it can teach you to be very present in the moment and tune in. That way you're not thinking 20 steps into the future and thinking about the laundry that needs to get done or that person that you need to call back. And I have some videos on my page about mindfulness and strengthening that if you want to check those out. Nonverbal cues. So as much as you should be paying attention to what your own body is doing, it's also important to be aware of what the other person is doing if you're in a face-to-face conversation or something like a video call. Micro expressions like furrowed brows and tense jaws might indicate one thing while words say another, and tone and inflection might also indicate something that words aren't saying. By paying attention to those, it just helps you read between the lines and listen to what's actually being said. Storytelling. I know this sounds contradictory because earlier I said the importance of being surgical with your words, and that's very important when you're trying to communicate a specific objective. But the reality of it is, we're not robots, at least not yet. But anyway, introducing a little bit of creativity into your communication can help reinforce your points and connect with others' experiences in a meaningful way. This is really helpful when you're explaining something to someone and using things like metaphors or anecdotes. Just make sure they are intentional and relevant. Provide feedback. In some cases, when you're talking to a loved one or a colleague, you might be asked to provide some feedback or constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is an art, and it could be in a separate video entirely, but for the sake of brevity, there's a method that you can use for getting feedback called the sandwich method. It starts with a positive, delivers the feedback, and ends on a positive and motivational note. Here's an example. 1, acknowledge what they've done right. I appreciate the hard work that you've put into this. It's very clear that you're passionate about this project, and your attention to detail shows. Then, provide the constructive criticism. I have noticed that some of the task deadlines have been missed, and it's really important that we stick to those deadlines so that we can keep everything on track. Then, end on a note that reinforces the value that you see in them and their work, and offer some suggestions to keep the progress moving along and how you can be there for them. You're a dedicated individual, and I know with your skills and experience, you'll find a solution to stay on track. And if there's anything I can do to help support you, or if you need to vocalize any concerns, please come to me anytime. I'm here to help you. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, then please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have anything you want to add to this.